Hi guys, Ronda Winstead here, aka Ronda without an H. Okay, so I know in one of my past videos I've shown you this little Midori style journal. This is my personal journal. I don't remember where, but what I'm going to show you, I thought I would take you along on this little journey with me. This was going to be my missionary journal, and then, I found out, I've got cancer and blah, 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 all of that. And so now I'm just using it as my personal journal, but I'm also using it as a guide for making a missionary journal similar to this for my granddaughter, one of my beautiful granddaughters who's going on a mission. And we're just so proud of her and that decision. And I showed this to her and asked her if she would like something like that. And she said yes. So that's what this is for, just to kind of show you. I'm trying to keep it fairly simple. And for those of you that have followed me a long time, I know, I heard you chuckling. I don't do simple very well, but, for me, this is simple. Okay, so it's Midori style, which is just basically that it's put together with elastic cording so that you can take your journal inside, you can switch things out so that you can write without the bulk of anything in the way. And as you fill up little notebooks, then you can replace them with other notebooks. It's just really, really convenient. I love, love, love all the embellishments with journals and whatnot, but for just writing and tracking things, they're not always the easiest to write in, as you well know if you journal. And so I like a combination of both. Okay, so first thing, let me share with you in case you want to do something similar. Oh, should we take the Band-Aid off? I apologize for that. Yesterday was my chemo treatment, and when they take the IV out of the port, anyway, oops. Okay, so let's do some measuring in case you want to do something like this. This is 11 inches by 6.5 for the cover, okay? And I have combined fabric and paper, which is what I love to do. I love, love, love mixing those mediums. I have put 3 spots for signatures in here. And with this particular style of notebook or journal, you can also add 2 more in between. And let's see if I have that here. I do, just so I can show you. This is done by adding an extra elastic when you have your 3, and then you add an extra elastic for 2. I would do 2 of these, and then you put, and I'll go into more detail about this when it gets that time, but you put this in line with, now what did I do? Now I'm like, what did I do? I don't remember. There. And then that holds that in nicely. So you can have a total, and I have another one here. Okay. So I have, excuse me, places for 5 notebooks. Let me show you the amazing wonderfulness of this whole concept. I can pull this out. This is the individual notebook that I make to put in these. And when I fill this up, I take this out and I replace it with another notebook. And I'm ready to go. which is why I do not stitch my covers together with my notebooks. You can do that, but then you either have to unstitch it or, disassemble it somehow, or you have to make a new cover. And I think this is the easier way to do it. So that's what that is for. All right. By the way, hi! Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Here I am. I'm just being a twit. How are you? I hope you are well. I love you. I hope that this is Wednesday. I don't know when I'll get this up and going. This will be probably more than 1 or 2 part going on as I'm working on this. But anyway, right now, it's Wednesday. Okay, so what I have done, and I apologize, I was working on this yesterday, and I did not think to turn the camera on to take you on this journey with me. So I'm going to backtrack just a little bit and show you what I've done with the notebooks that go inside. And these aren't exactly, I don't think they're exactly the size. I think these are just a little bit smaller, and I'm not sure why I did that. Maybe I had some already done that were a smaller size and I adapted. But as you can see, these will fit perfectly in the, 11 by 6.5 that I gave you. So these will fit perfectly. All right, let's set this aside for a moment. Now, for the inside, you decide what kind of papers you want to put in there. I have taken from old, when I've been out thrifting and whatnot, through the years I have accumulated a few notebooks that, for whatever reason, and they're cheap, and I've bought them. I personally prefer really small lines. I write small, and I like to do the writing small. I can get more on a page, but not everybody, likes that. And these are fine too. And I'm not 100% sure which my granddaughter will prefer, but I did ask her if she wanted some of these, like these in between. What I do on mine, this is my personal journaling going on right here, but I put a lined paper and then I put a deli paper that's been coffee dyed that you can read on the line. But she said, I think it'd be easier if they're all lined. And I agree. And she's not vintage. And so I'm not going to, I don't think anyway, that I'm going to coffee dye or different things that way. But so if you take a regular, this is for US size, this is not European. So a regular 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper, and you divide that in fourths, that gives you 5.5 inches height and 4.25 inches width. And so that's the size that these are. Now, when I take it from a journal, and let me just show you kind of what I've been doing. So, I've been robbing from everywhere. So I picked up, these were super, super cheap. And I picked these notebooks up. Now these, I have taken, they're done stitched in signatures. And so I've taken all of those out, and I still have pages, but at the end of the signature, in addition to the stitching, they've glued. And so I haven't addressed that yet. But this size paper gave me, came from here. So I've basically, you can see what I've done here. And I think what I actually did here was I turned the bottom into the top because I didn't think I needed that much space at the top. And so when I took the papers out, I put them in like a signature, like you would, one inside the other, like this. And then what I did was I took my ruler and I measured and I cut accordingly. I cut that, the one side, and then I cut the other side, okay? When I did that, after I cut that, no, I apologize. I should have taken you along yesterday. I apologize, my friends. I'm sorry. You know my brain fog that's going on right now. Okay, all I did was cut the length, or so I would have the length of the notebook. I cut that, and then I added these little clips to hold it in place so I could stitch. And then I stitched down the center. I don't start at the top and go to the bottom. The reason being that every time you have something stitched clear to the edge and you're moving with your elastics in and out, it will have more of a tendency over time to rip and fray at those points. And so I put it more in the center. This isn't exactly, but it's okay. That doesn't happen as easily. I stitched with a 4, which is a large stitch, and then I tied knots on the back. And then, so we've done that. You could very easily do this with poking the holes. 1, 2, 3, just eyeball it. Doing the same thing with whatever method that you prefer. It doesn't have to be stitched on a machine, not at all. That's just my go-to tool and handy for me. Okay, so then what I did was to use my bone folder to make sure it's down nicely, and then I put my, I'm like, and then, and then she said, you know, crazy stuff. Anyway, I was seeing if I could find the actual notebook that this came from. This could be it. I don't know, those lines are a little different. Maybe not exactly. But, see, then I would have this extra here, and then I measured in the 4 1/4, and then I cut that off. So that left me, if I cut this off, so I have this extra little stack right here, and I have a stack here. Okay, let's just pretend that that's okay. So those were my cuts, and obviously you never get rid of this, and I will show you in a minute why you don't get rid of those. So then you go through, and I usually put anywhere from 14, 15, 16 pages together. I don't like to have it be too thick, because I would prefer to have more notebooks and less bulk than the other way around. But so this is what I did yesterday, guys. I made this one and this one. I already had this one. This isn't, I'm not in love with that, but the reason I did that is, I got 2 together here. Come on. Is I had this pad of graph paper, and it's graph on one side and lined on the other side, and then of course, you know, it was a sheet like this. So I have this on one. You can still see to write. You've got some lines behind there that you can use. And this is just kind of fun and different, so I included that. I've not stitched the center of that one yet. I haven't stitched the center of that one. I have stitched the center of this one, which is another graph paper. And this one, I just took from one of these. I still have some more papers in here that I can use, and I've unstitched it. And these composition notebooks, you guys, right now, they're really cheap. But I would recommend, if you're going to use them for a journal, the dollar stores, theirs are maybe a little flimsy. I would go for those that are on sale in a better, I mean, it doesn't have to be heavy, but you're just a little bit nicer, because that it'll hold up a little bit better for you. So I get mine usually at Walmart when they go on sale, or at a like kind of store, because you can get them really inexpensively and right now. So that's that one. This one is a full notebook that's ready to be taken apart, and I've started on it. At some point, I don't know, I was going to do something in here and then never did, and years go by, and there's all this delicious paper that I have to work with that I can make more of these. And I think I got these in Goodwill for, I don't know, like 98 cents, something like that. I also came across some of these folios, which have, I think this one had these in it. And yeah, yes, I do believe. Here we go. That is the same. So you just have to look around. You know, I'm sure that you will find some wonderful things. You can get regular, and this had another one that I've used the whole thing in, and I don't get rid of the covers, because you never know what you might want to do with those. So, and here's another one. So I have 1, 2, 3, this one is stitched, 4, 5 notebooks that are stitched in, and I will maybe include even just a few more for her so that she has plenty to switch out if she fills it up. You know, whatever she wants to do. I didn't include in this like blank papers or watercolor or for artistic endeavors, because this is really her missionary journal, and she's going to be writing about her experiences and comments and things as her prayers, and just as she's learning and growing and sharing about her feelings and her heart and that kind of thing. And maybe assignments that she has and people she meets, and, you know, just that kind of thing. And she can always, if she wants, she can draw over the lines. But, okay, so that was what I did yesterday. So now you're caught up. And I do apologize again, but all right, so what I wanted to finish out this video is showing you, because this is what I'm working on right now, is it drives me nuts, okay? All these extra little paper and cutoffs that I get from this. And so what I also started yesterday is to make little notebooks. So these will be, I haven't made covers or anything for these yet, but I have done the same basic process. And let's see, where was the one I was going to show you? The offcut that I had. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is what was left from the graph paper that I used. and I have, and I started to make some little doodles here as I'm working on doodles maybe for another, to cut out my own stamp. So what I did with that is just cut those. They're not even, but cut them into little notebook sizes, and then I'll stitch, and those will be ready to have a cover put on. These I did yesterday from this other that I showed you. Now, this is what I've got left to work with. So I thought you could help me, and I'm thinking this one is a little bit easier, I think, because what I did was I just cut this in half, right? So I think we'll do that. We'll start by cutting that in half. By the way, what is the weather like where you are at? We were supposed to get some rain, but we're not. And the temperatures, they're in the mid 80s, I guess. So it's not horrible, you know. But okay, so this is the size that this is going to make. Let me, with my bone folder. So I kind of just let the paper sort of determine what size it's going to end up. And I will trim the edge of this after I stitch. Okay, you say you want to see that. Well, I can't show you the sewing part, but you'll be able to hear it. But I will do one of these to show you exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm going to eyeball, just kind of stitch down right here. So if the sound of a sewing machine is offensive, just plug your ears for just a second. I will get this done as quickly as I can, and I will be right back to show you what I've done. Okay. Okay. So I've just kind of stitched, and you know what? I forgot to turn my stitch up to a 4. The reason I do a larger stitch is the smaller your stitch, the bigger chance of having it rip, you know, to tear out. And that's why I do that. But I think this will be fine, especially where I'm not going to the edges. So it won't have a tendency like it would if I did that to cut into the paper. And so you see what I'm doing now is I'm tying a knot in this just to make sure that it's secure and I don't have to worry about it coming out. And if I could tie a knot, that would be helpful. Oh, you guys, this is crazy. So I have to tell you that my treatment yesterday was both good and horrible. Oh man, you know, the Lord gives us lots of opportunities for growth, doesn't he? Let's just say that. Okay, so now what I will do is I'm going to just trim this down just a little bit to straighten up my my edges there. I'm going to stand up, and of course you trim with whatever it is you trim with. Quilters, you know, we use these kinds of tools and love them. Now I want to round, and this is We Are Memory Keepers. I have 3 different selections that I can use for this. I'm going to use the second one. So I'm just going to take a few pages, and this is fine. This is fine, but I feel like it gives just a little bit of added, I don't know, definition, makes it look just a little more professional if I do take the time and add these little bits. Anything that you do, guys, I try to, when I'm making something, I try to think, would I love this? If someone gave this to me, would I love this? And that's kind of how I try to work, is that if I would love to have it, if I would love to keep something that I'm making, if I'm making it for sale or to give for special whatever, I feel like I've been successful if I look at it and I say, ooh, I want to keep this, or ooh, I love this. So that's kind of what I do. Okay, so there we have, and see, it didn't take but a minute, and it just gives it a nice little edge, I think. But that's up to you, and there are many different things that you could do that way to make it work too. You can just snip a little corner off, or leave it plain, whatever. Okay, so there's my notebook, and that's kind of what I've been doing and what I will continue to do with these. Chances are this will be a top, this will be stitched here, so you'll have a top down kind of thing, because that would be too little to, or I could take the time and stitch those together, or put them together with a little piece of cloth or something, and I may do that. So anyway, I think I'm going to stop the video for now, and maybe this will be like video 1, just getting started and doing the notebooks. Oh, no, not quite. So sorry. Let me put those off to the side. Now, let's talk about the cover again for just a sec, because I've also done this. I've done my 6.5 by 11 inch, and this I've just taken, you can see this is an Amazon envelope that I received some goodies in, and I have taken that. She wants purples and sage green, so I've pulled some purples and some sage green, and we'll see. So pulled me some fun fabrics. I haven't pulled any paper yet. I have also printed out, and this, of course, you do what, this is a missionary journal, so it's more religious, but I've printed out some quotes, and this is the first presidency in our church, our prophet, President Nelson, and his counselors, President Irene, and President, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, someone correct me. Finish my sentence, please. And just some fun things. This is her favorite picture of the Savior, and she loves astrology. She's so into the stars and the galaxy and that kind of thing, and so this is just a lovely print, and I will probably put this on the front cover. So gather you some images, some papers, some fabrics, and then in our next video, we'll work on getting this cover all together. All right, guys, I hope that that's been fun and helpful for you a little bit. I love you. I love you. One of the most, this is crazy, but it's a mixed blessing, but it is a blessing. I have found that since I have shared my story, my battle with cancer, So many of you have opened up and shared some of your stories with me, and it warms my heart. Words just can't express how I feel the gratitude, and it's helped me get to know you better. Some of you are chatting more, and I love that. I so love that. No comment is immaterial, and I read each and every comment, and sometimes I tear up, sometimes I laugh, sometimes I just shake my head like, yep, I'm there with you, girlfriend. But it's so enjoyable. So keep it up, you guys, really. And may the Lord bless you today with tons of sunshine. And if it's raining where you are, then you be the sunshine. All right, guys, until next video, have a fabulous day. Bye-bye now.